All right, so today we're going to talk about how to effectively apply a tourniquet. Tourniquets can only be placed in 4 places. It's our arms and our legs, so only the limbs. When we talk about a tourniquet in real life, you can put this on in about 15 seconds or less. One thing to stress that we will be going slower for our demonstration. When we put on a tourniquet on our limb, let's say this is our injury, we always go above the wound to help cut off that circulation of the blood flow to help control that bleeding injury. So Brian's going to go ahead and start here. We go above the wound, about 2 to 3 inches. We always like to say high and tight. Velcro is always on the outside. Much like a belt, it goes right through a belt loop. This most important part right here is actually cinching down the tourniquet and getting it as tight as we possibly can before we start spinning the rod. So Brian's going to go ahead and Velcro up to the C-clamp. Next is going to be actually spinning our rod or our windlass, and we spin this until the bleeding stops. So it doesn't have a finite number, it's just until that bleeding stops. You lock it into place inside the C-clamp. You put some extra, if you have any, over on top, and then you lock it in place with the timestamp. And then we would write what time we actually applied the tourniquet. And this helps our hospital care once that individual is actually over to an operating room, and which kind of methods they'll use to help repair that artery, if anything, if that's the method they go towards. So you can always, if you don't have a marker in terms of actually writing the time in which you apply the tourniquet, because you called 911 for your emergency, you can also tell that call taker on the 911 side, I just applied a tourniquet, can I get a timestamp? Or actually just even saying the word helps our call takers put that note in our computer system that helps further aid our first responders to know that a tourniquet's been applied. So let's talk about wound packing. In the event, let's say an injury is not on the arm or the leg, or you do not have a tourniquet handy, we can use our compressed gauze like we have here. You can also use really anything that's absorbent. It could be a t-shirt off your own back. It could be a tablecloth, for example. Anything to help pack a wound can really help buy an individual time to get to the hospital and further bridge that gap and to help increase their chance of survival. When we talk about packing a wound, we would put on our PPE, so that would be like our gloves. We would take whatever absorbent material we have, and we're going to actually pack it into that wound. So as you can see here, you would take whatever material you have, like our gauze, you would pack it all the way to the bottom of the injury with your fingers, and you will fill it as much as you can until you get to the top of that injury. You'll take whatever material you have left over, place it right on top, and then we will combine it with direct pressure, and we will hold that pressure until our first responders arrive.